All right, welcome back to another episode of Thoughts in Stereo. Today, your headphones are very loud?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay. Today we have a very special guest from SOCAN, the man, the myth, the legend, Aidan Doust. Did I pronounce that properly?
Yeah, 100%.
Excellent. So, Aidan is joining us here from SOCAN in an episode that took us, honestly, way too long to do. SOCAN is like one of the most important things for Canadian writers, producers, artists. So, anyways, it's long overdue, but I'm very excited for it. Aidan, do you want to give yourself a little bit of an introduction?
100%. Coming in at 6'3", 180 pounds on a good day. My name's Aidan. I'm an A&R rep at SOCAN, which I can get into a little bit later what that exactly entails. But before that, I worked in the publishing world. I was an A&R rep at Warner Chappell for the Canadian office. And then before that, I was a music journalist at Complex, covering primarily, again, like Canadian songwriters, producers, artists, things like that. But
Amazing.
So this last time, but essentially I'm just like a professional music lover. That's my full-time job.
How long, like between the time that you started as a journalist and to now to SOCAN, how long have you been in the game?
Yeah, I've been in the game, I guess, around like 5 years or so like half a decade. But it feels like I've been in it for 15 years, because working at SOCAN is basically just like industry 101, and you just meet everybody in every facet of the industry. So it feels like I've been in it longer, but in a good way, not in a bad way.
Excellent.
Nice.
I want to open with one question, just so that viewers, if they're not from Canada, they don't click off this video. SOCAN is a Canadian company, but you, as a Canadian PRO, but people from outside of Canada can still be a part of it, right?
Yeah, 100%. Anybody can join. Usually we just say, if you have some sort of business in Canada, whether it be your manager, or even if you frequent Canada a ton, or a bunch of your collaborators are Canadian. So as long as you think that there is a reason to tie you to the country and the country's creators, music creators, then 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
And then let's just start with the simple question of what exactly does SOCAN do? Because this was a long learning experience for me, the first couple of years as a songwriter and working with you guys at SOCAN and trying to figure out exactly how to utilize you guys best for us as creators.
100%. Yeah. So Canada, you were saying, everything's right. We're Canada's PRO, Performing Rights Organization. You might have heard of companies like ASCAP or BMI or PRS. Those are American and English versions of a PRO. Germany has DEMA. There's a ton of them. But Canada has only one PRO, SOCAN, and essentially what we do is we collect performing rights. So that is kind of like an umbrella term for anytime music is being played, whether it be live or if it's in a bar, or if it's being streamed on the internet. Essentially, we deal with the rights of the songwriters and the publishers and the screen composers of the work. So that's why a lot of producers like yourselves, top liners, obviously publishers like Warner and Sony and Ultra, and everybody is involved with SOCAN in some way. But essentially what we're doing is we're paying you the money owed when your music is being used commercially in a live setting, online, television, radio, things like that. So it's a primary revenue stream for a lot of songwriters.
Yeah, I think one thing I've always heard from SOCAN was it's never too early to join SOCAN. It's never okay, I need to wait until I have stuff out, and I need to wait till I'm making money, and then I'll join SOCAN to collect my money, stuff like that. But one thing that I've benefited a lot from SOCAN was the relationships that you guys have connected me with other writers in Canada, and writing camps, and you guys do Song Camp Mondays, and just this whole, you guys have a priority of linking up creators together, and I thought that was awesome. And not a lot of people that you meet in this industry want to just genuinely connect you with other people to work with no direct benefit to them.
Because SOCAN is a non-profit, right?
Yeah, we're a nonprofit. That's a huge kind of misconception that a lot of people have, is that we're like either government funded or for profit, and neither of those are true. We're owned and operated by songwriter members. Songwriter members are on our board. Producers are on our board. And yeah, like you were saying, Nick, like honestly, it's the easiest job for me as an A&R, because at the end of the day, all I'm doing is like either putting money in people's hands or just like connecting them to somebody that can benefit their career. It's the easiest A&R job ever in that sense. And you're absolutely right. Like, I encourage anybody to join up when they're like seriously considering to either upload their music or perform their music live.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you're going to be able to collect your royalties anyway through us, your performance royalties if you're a songwriter. But yeah, like that's why everybody signs up relatively early on. Thankfully, our brand is strong enough that most people in Canada, if they're creating music, they know about us.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have like 165,000 members right now. That number grows by the day.
Wow.
But again, that's like everybody from high level members that are, global pop stars, all the way down to like just hobbyists that want to play like cafes.
That's awesome. There's a space in there for every kind of creator.
And I think that is important to know, that a lot, like for people that are kind of maybe, like Aidan has said, looking to maybe perform in a cafe or perform casually or something like that, and maybe with a band, and they're just starting out and they're just like, how am I going to collect the money for this? Because signing up is a pretty painless process, right? Like it's quite easy, and I think that there's so many, like you said, like what Nick was saying about all the songwriter camps, and I think, well, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but you guys offer so much, and it's so easy to sign up. Basically, it's almost like a no-brainer in a certain sense. But there was something I was going to ask you about. You guys have a house in LA, right? There's a SOCAN house in LA. Is there also one in Vancouver?
And
so
Nashville.
there isn't one in Vancouver. There's one in Nashville, and there's one in Paris.
Okay.
Can
you say a little bit about those?
Yeah, 100%. So outside of just kind of the royalty collection end of things, which I can get into, I know it's a little inside baseball, but for anybody that's like curious, I can get into like what and how we collect. But on top of that, we also have our member benefits. So like you were saying, Nick, like some of the, in-person collaborations, the link ups, those things, that's kind of what the A&R team does. And then in addition to that, we also manage and run houses and studios. So the houses are kind of like one-bedroom boarding spaces for artists. And essentially what we have them in those cities for that we mentioned is basically just a safe, relatively, actually not relatively, super affordable space for writers to access when they're in those cities to progress and further their career. So, LA, obviously kind of the hub for music in at least the West. We have that house there. So when producers, writers, publishers want to go down there and take meetings or perform at a showcase.
That's where I've stayed in the past.
Yeah.
Like before I had moved there, I would go and stay at the SOCAN house. I think I did it once or twice, and it was amazing. It's like have you ever stayed there? It's like a nice place in Silver Lake, and it's like relatively close to everything,
Yeah, and then again, like it's super affordable. It's $200 Canadian for the entire week. You just have to go through like a small booking process.
I think it's like 2 months in advance or something. You got to book.
Usually about 2 months in advance is around the time we ask. Paris is a little different. You can stay there for 2 weeks at a time. It's the same price. In Nashville, it's in East Nashville. A lot of like folk writers, country writers. Actually pop now too. They utilize Nashville as a space as well, and it's a brand new space in Nashville, brand new lease. It's awesome. But yeah, like ultimately SOCAN as a whole, we just want to do all the hard work of like, collecting your rights, and we want to do like all the heavy lifting so that you as a writer can just kind of focus on your craft. And that's exactly what the house is. It's an extension of that like ideology.
Yeah, just focus on making the best stuff you can make. Let us worry about the rest of it, you know?
Exactly.
Just get yourself there, you have a place to stay, kind of thing. I love that.
For people that, I guess you brought it up before, and now it would be good to get into it. You said it's a bit inside baseball. I think that was the term that you used.
How you collect.
What is the collection process like? Where do you collect from? Because I think people assume that your royalties that come from SOCAN or maybe from your PRO are like related to how many streams you get on like streaming. But I don't. I think it's more so the radio and the performing and all that kind of stuff, right? As opposed to the sales, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like the payouts on internet royalties, I think, is something that the entire industry is trying to change, just because the majority of music consumption, obviously, especially right now in COVID, is all online. So I think we're all kind of working towards making that payout a little bit larger than it is, obviously, right now. But yeah, fundamentally, the majority of your SOCAN royalties come through radio, television and film, and live. Those are like huge main kind of tariffs that we collect off of. And yeah, everything is like contextual. How much you make is really determined by like, you know, how many listens, how many radio spins you're getting, how much of the song you wrote on also determines how much the payout is, how many people you're performing in front of if it's a live show. So all of those things obviously determine how much you're making. But for the most part, the majority of your royalties are radio,
Oh, wait. Your mic cut out for 1 second at the end there.
Mine did? Oh shit.
There we go.
Can you hear me?
We're good.
I'll just repeat myself. Yeah. Obviously, like I was saying that everything is determined by these little kind of intricacies, how many people you're performing in front of if it's live, how many radio spins you're getting, how much of the song you wrote on.
Right.
But yeah, at the end of the day, like those are the main tiers of payouts,
nice.
Radio, live.
Yeah, there's a lot that it's not as easy as just like, oh, you're going to sign up for SOCAN and you're going to start making money. Like there's a lot that leads up to that, you know.
If say someone were to be performing at a cafe or at a live show and has never signed up for not signed up for a performance or has never registered their song, what can you walk someone through basically, you know, in layman's terms, the registration process for that kind of thing so that they can collect it?
Yeah, it's super easy. So once you register and you get your member number and you've accessed kind of your member login page, which is, it sort of looks like almost like a Facebook homepage. But it's really easy to navigate. Updating the member portal at the end of the year too. So it's only going to get easier to navigate. And also there's some really cool calculators and tools and stuff on the site that I'll talk about later. But when you sign into your account, you're going to see a page called Work Registrations. So you're going to click on your work registrations, and then basically what that brings you to kind of the meat and potatoes of the SOCAN website, registering your works. So works, songs, same thing, interchangeable term. And then, yeah, the only thing we really need is like the duration of the song you're planning to perform or planning to release, the title of it, the performer name. So if it's your own song, it's your own song, you're going to put the name of your artist project or whatever. If you're writing it for somebody else and they're releasing it, you put their performer name. And then the only other thing we really need is the split sheet. So for people that aren't aware, like the split sheet is the breakdown of who wrote on the project, or excuse me, on the track. You know, who's involved in it, the producers, the top liners.
How much each percentage each person has. And
exactly. And that's kind of it. Once you determine that and you break down the percentage, which is usually, you know, something you guys have to discuss with your other collaborators beforehand. Once you have that split sheet down, you submit the work. And then once you've submitted that work, you would do, if you're doing a live performance, you would submit another form called an NONP, which is a notification of live performance. It's basically this big, long, convoluted term, essentially just means concert submission form. And then very similarly, the concert submission form is looking for like the name of the venue performed at, the date of the venue or the date of the performance, and then instead of a split sheet, it's a set list. So you have to put like the songs you perform. Ideally, I always say before you perform a show or you do like a run of gigs, just make sure every song you're planning to perform is already registered in your works. That way you can just kind of drag and drop your works. Super easy. If that sounds a little overwhelming for people that haven't registered, it really isn't. And again, at the end of the day, if you have any questions as a member and you need to be walked through the pages, like you can just give people like myself a call. Like we're thankfully the like one organization I think in Canada, like music wise, that you can always guarantee a meeting or a phone call. We're not like a label or a publisher that's gonna, like pick and choose who we're talking to. Like if you are a member, you're a member of us for forever. Like you can always just ring us or email us, and we'll always get in contact.
That's why SOCAN has such a sterling reputation.
Honestly, SOCAN is the best. Like there's a lot of American friends and writers and producers that I work with that they all say like none of the American PROs do anything like what SOCAN does. Like when I was saying, I stayed at the SOCAN house in LA, and when I told someone that from America, they were like, what do you mean your PRO has a house in America that you can just come stay at for such a cheap price? I'm like, yeah man, SOCAN's the best. They also hold the most incredible writing camps in some of the most incredible places in the world. And like I said, people that are part of BMI or ASCAP are just like, that's
super peanut butter and jealous.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why like a lot of there's some American friends of mine that I know that have signed to SOCAN even though they're not Canadian, just because of the things that SOCAN offers. Is just because you're on here, we're bigging up SOCAN as well, but it genuinely is the best PRO and helped me personally in my career so much.
I think it's helped a lot. Helped so many people.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like the turning point in my career was going to the writing camp in Nicaragua 4 years ago with SOCAN, and I was like super duper, wasn't supposed to be there. I wasn't very good at the time, and a lot of the writers and producers over there had like big cuts and stuff, and I was so nervous, and I went, met about 18 or 20 writers, I forget the amount of people that were there, and producers, and like still talk to most of those people to this day.
Wow.
Because it was just such a cool, incredible vibe. Everyone was there. Everyone was having fun. Everyone was writing the whole time. And, like I said, from those connections, I go down to LA, meet up with those same people. They introduced me to new people. Like that was the beginning of the snowball effect of meeting writers to work with in my career. And that's like full credit to SOCAN.
What's amazing too is like that seems to be so many people's experience with the camps in particular is they find like a second family down there. What you're talking about too, and I think it kind of stems from what I was saying before, like the ideology behind SOCAN, just like we want our writers to win. We kind of have this, what my boss likes to call like a boutique hotel approach as a PRO. BMI, ASCAP, PRS, they're massive organizations. SOCAN's a little bit smaller. The advantage of having a smaller organization is that we have more time to interact with and cultivate relationships with writers that are kind of burgeoning. Like yourself 4 years ago, we were able to identify talent and put you in a position to succeed because, we're a smaller organization, and then we have this mentality of we want to give a boutique hotel approach. We want to help you out. We want to really dig in with you. But yeah, all the camps and the sessions and the connections really comes from our A&R team, which is what I'm a part of. And unlike an A&R, the label or publisher, we're not working with the same handful of artists every day. We're not walking in studios with you. We're not setting up label meets ourselves, but we're A&Rs in the sense that we are constantly connecting people. So instead of like, 6 artists that we're working with throughout the year, we're working with all 165,000 members essentially. But we do identify people that we think are, potential high earners, or we think are actually really talented. And that's when we like curate camps around those people, because we identify the talent and the drive. And basically we just, we all kind of convene as an A&R group, and we all champion writers and producers, and then we basically set up these camps to hopefully get them cuts.
Yeah.
What is the, so how would someone, like a producer like myself, or someone, another SOCAN member producer, how do they go about signing up for these camps or for these sessions that you guys hold?
Yeah, so there are 2 kind of tiers of camps that we're running right now. The first is those big kind of marquee camps that we were talking about before. They're usually location based. So we've done one in Nicaragua. We did one in the Dominican.
There's one in Greece, I think.
We had like an affiliation with the camp in Greece. We did one at the top of the year in Muskoka. We did like a big country camp. Those camps are usually invite only. So the way to kind of be considered for those camps is honestly just to keep like grinding away, as the industry statement goes. You just got to grind. But if you get like a cut here or there, or if people are raving about you in the circles, like we'll know. Like we're out there every day. We're at sessions, we're at studios. We'll know. But there is, if you're just trying to get your feet wet and you're maybe new to the idea of collaborating and being in camps, we also have right now it's a weekly camp that we run. We usually call them Song Camp Mondays, but we're doing them throughout the week virtually right now because of COVID. And those are just like, you can sign up on our website. There's a link you look at. I think it's in the tab that says SOCAN Advantage on our main webpage. You can sign up for those camps, and they are curated, so we're not going to just throw you in a room with random people. And we're going to put people at your level, so we're not going to just put you in with somebody that just downloaded FL. Those camps are like we're running pretty frequently. Usually it's once a week right now. So if you're looking to get involved in those, like guaranteed, if you sign up,
a couple years ago, before I had my studio, I remember I spoke to someone at SOCAN about doing one of the Song Camp Mondays just to, again, like meet more writers. And I went into the office, and you guys have a cool little writing room in the office in North Toronto. And I thought that was super cool that it was like, you guys are providing writers to work with. You guys provided a workspace for me. You provided all the things to work with in terms of like a second monitor, speakers, microphones to choose from, as many guitars as you wanted. Like there's all this stuff, and just like so much accessibility just to allow us to just do what we want to do, which I thought was really, really cool. And that's one of the reasons what made me love SOCAN. And we talked about how to get into these camps, and I think one thing is just like you said, you guys are always there for a call or an email or whatever for any one of the members. And I think it's our job as members is just to keep in contact and keep you guys updated. And that's part of the grind is like, here's a new pack of music that I've made in the past month. We haven't talked in a month. Here's what I've done since. Let me know what you think. And that's kind of how you get on SOCAN's radar in my eyes.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like, it's not so much like, oh, I'll let them come to me, which is I feel like what some people may have the mentality like, oh, like when I'm ready, they'll know and they'll contact. But it's kind of like, put the time in, meet you guys. You guys are really cool people, and you guys try and help out no matter what stage in your career that you're at. I know that SOCAN will find a way to help you,
Yeah, I appreciate it. Like, I think staying top of mind is super crucial as a writer. If you are getting these cuts out there, like we will find you.
Of course.
But like you were saying, like just sending music, like I'm an A&R, I'm a creative first. Like that's my favorite thing ever. It's just like walking into the office and opening my laptop and just seeing like a bunch of folders of movies. Like that's the best shit ever. So just sending stuff, again, like most of our emails are public. If you don't have my email, you can email SOCAN's general email to get it. Like we're all super open. We love hearing new music. So definitely staying top of mind is huge. cheat code to getting into the camps.
I'm gonna stay tall. I haven't sent SOCAN an email with my music ever. I'm just like sitting here reflecting on the fact that like I haven't been doing shit. I didn't know that was a thing.
How did you get linked up with SOCAN? Through Dre?
No, so actually my SOCAN experience was, I remember this exactly. I was at school. I was at U of T, and I don't remember exactly the time, like what month it was. I know it was 2017. Melissa came. She messaged me.
I think I know this story.
You know the story.
I think I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Melissa messaged me. She currently works at SOCAN, but currently is on maternity leave, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just had a baby. Congratulations to her. But she messaged me and she was like, "Hey, like I want to talk to you about SOCAN and the benefits of stuff." And she came down to U of T and like met with myself and Malcolm and was like, "I'm gonna like this is what we do. Let's get you signed up. Like we can." Like she basically gave me the SOCAN spiel, like everything Aidan is telling us, and she just was like, yeah, like this is just something that's important to do as a producer, artist, songwriter in Canada, and this is like an essential way for you to collect your royalties. And I was like, oh shit, all right. Like,
and as a skeptical young artist, you're like, and it's non-for-profit.
And I'm like, so how much are you taking off the top?
Yeah. So you guys aren't taking anything? It's like, no. It's like, are you sure? Like,
no, but we had it was a really nice experience. And it was very, very nice of Melissa to come down and speak to me personally. I thought that was a really nice touch. As opposed to, just sending an email and being like, hey, this is, I'm Melissa, I'm working for SOCAN here. She was like, no, I'm going to come down, meet you, like, let's talk in person. I was like, oh, fantastic. And, no, it was actually a really nice day, and she really helped, and she made things super clear. And, that's why I was so excited to have Aidan on, because I just want people to kind of have that same kind of experience, almost that same kind of knowledge, like when they watch this podcast, you know what I'm saying?
SOCAN is and like you said before, it's such a shame that we've waited this long to have you on here. Truly, because this is such a massive part, and if anyone is going to watch an episode of the show, I hope it's this one. Early in the career, early in their career, just because it's. I've said it already like 6 times during the podcast, but it's just such a huge part of my career. I love SOCAN so much, and just what you guys have done for me. I truly I'm not saying this because you're here. I think it's everyone needs to put a lot of time and effort in working with SOCAN and getting the most out of you guys, because there's no other PRO like it, and Canadians really have to take advantage of it.
Yes.
And the good news is that we're like super chill and friendly. Like it's not like you have to like
all of you guys like
we're not gonna like close the door on you.
No, it's true. It's actually funny. I came to the SOCAN offices probably a year ago to work with an artist and like a couple songwriters. And Rodney, who's the current,
oh my God.
Is this the correct title? Is he the head of SOCAN right now?
He's vice president of A&R membership right now.
Vice president of A&R, et cetera, et cetera. Shout out Rodney. He's a fantastic guy. He comes in the room. He's like, oh, Bijan, like I never met him. He's like, oh yeah, like I've spoken to Andreas, I've spoken to Aidan, I've heard about you. I'm here with this artist. He's super talented. He does this and that, and like it's just like, hey, like why don't you guys connect? Why don't you guys do something together? And you know what? I worked with that artist after. Like it wasn't like one of those things where I was like, whatever, Rodney, you don't know what you're talking about. Like I was like, okay, let's give it a shot. And the artist is mad dope. Like he's fire. And the session that I had there was great. And I mean, coming from Mississauga, driving to North York, I mean, I'll never do that again. But but not because I didn't like it, damn it, because it was just because of the drive. No, of course I'm kidding, but no, it's like one of those environments where everyone's like, hey, like, how can I help you? How can we help you be a better musician, artist? Like, how can we transition you from working that part-time job to doing music full-time?
Yeah.
Which is really a beautiful thing, because a lot of artists don't have that support, even from like maybe their family or from anything. And a lot of them are very much on their own. And I love the people at SOCAN. I love SOCAN because truly in my experience, I don't know, maybe you're a dickhead behind the scenes, but in my in my experience, I'm kidding, okay? I'm obviously kidding. Aidan is the nicest. No, but seriously, it really makes you feel like you can actually do this, and they really set you up. It doesn't matter if you have 100 million plays or like a 10,000 plays or a 5,000, whatever,
or four.
Or four plays.
Just 4
plays. They really want you to succeed, and they really help you if you ask. I mean, they're not going to baby you, but like if you go and like find the person to talk to, you could really benefit your career. And that's the most important thing in the music industry, where everyone's trying to take advantage of you. I mean, not everyone, but like figuratively everyone is want to take advantage of you, and everyone has their own thing going on. And you know, it's nice to have a company come in that wants you to succeed. And you know, obviously now I'm just like jerking off SOCAN, but
I love it.
Aidan loves it. He's like, this is gonna go on the website first thing tomorrow.
Literally.
But in all seriousness, it's a fantastic company, and I really encourage our listeners to like take that action, to sign up, to send that email. Like, I know for a lot of people that I talk to, like, I don't know how to send an email, I don't know how to network, I don't know how to do that. It really doesn't matter. These guys, I'm sure you get thousands of emails a day, and I'm sure you're not really looking for proper MLA syntax format, you know, name, date, address, email address, you know, like, I'm sure there's room for everyone to be a part of this, or to at least benefit in some way.
Yep.
And that, I think, is the most important thing. Don't be afraid to reach out to SOCAN, to Aidan, to whoever. Because, you know, from all these things, it's not reserved for the Drakes, the Weekends, the Party Next Doors, you know, the Justin Biebers. It's for everyone. So I really, like, I want people to understand that, because there's a lot of people like, oh, I don't know, I don't think I should sign up. But no, like, it's time. Like, it's the best thing that you could do as an upcoming artist, to like connect with people, to make sure you're getting paid and all that kind of stuff. And everyone there is super nice. So I just want people to like understand that if you're going to watch one portion of the episode, if we're going to clip one thing, I want it to be all of Aidan's little bits and then this speech at the end, because it was quite original, if I don't mind saying.
Yeah, honestly, like, I think that's such an important thing, like, just to emphasize the fact that, you know, you can join whenever, like, but join sooner rather than later, because, that, again, it's the only way, you're going to be able to collect your performance royalties. Like, you can't knock on the door of every radio station in Canada and the world. But yeah, B, also you have this amazing creative network that you can tap into, and it's, you know, it's easy as just sending an email and asking for a meeting, asking for a phone call, and then like we, you know, 3 days later we have like a big meeting, we talk to you, we learn what you're doing. It's honestly, I've only been at the company for 3 years, but already it's so gratifying to see like these amazing success stories where it's like, oh, I just met this guy at a coffee shop downtown, and now he's like producing for fucking like whatever, Kanye, or like,
right, it's nuts,
whatever. Like, that's just amazing to me. Like that, and that is another really sick thing about the job too. Is we're your champions. So yes, like, you know, for people that are just starting out, we're gonna help, you know, connect you to people, and we're gonna help groom you into, you know, the best version of yourself you can be as a music creator. But when you are at that level, we're also going to champion you. We're still going to plug you into opportunities. Like, it doesn't matter at what point in your career you are. Like, your connection with SOCAN, I think, is just as important at every stage.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's the best part to me. That is truly the best part to me. There are so many people that will overlook you when you don't have the right amount of followers or listeners. Not SOCAN.
Yeah.
And I proudly say that. As a Canadian, I could proudly say that. I love you guys. I want to kiss you, Aidan, right now. I swear to God, I'll come there and kiss you right now.
Listen, yo, I'm with it. Let's
like,
go.
No.
He's like, come here, baby. He's like, I'm ready.
Aidan's like, yeah, but COVID.
Yeah, also that too.
Yeah. Like, I think we covered a lot of stuff on SOCAN.
We covered, just sum it up, join SOCAN, guys. Get on. Get smart.
Get on there, join that shit. What are you waiting for? If you don't, this is going to be like one of those Canadian college.
It's the
ads
Travis
where, like,
Institute
you're sitting
guy,
on the
yeah.
couch. You're not doing anything. Go and sign up for SOCAN.
Yeah.
If you haven't already, it'll change your life. No, I mean, I'm not going to promise it's going to change your life, but it is going to give you access to a lot more things that you didn't have before if you haven't signed up, especially as an up-and-coming artist, songwriter. Can't stress that enough.
Just as like an extra cherry on top too, we have our studio spaces. I don't know if I mentioned it. I know I mentioned the houses, but our studio spaces are in our 4 main office locations: LA, Vancouver, Toronto, and soon to be Montreal.
Nice.
They're all free to use as members. So if you
LA
are a
one
member,
is sick.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all
It's-
free to use as a member.
it's all free to use. And again, if you want to bring somebody in to collaborate with and they're not a member, that's fine. Like, you can bring whoever you want.
Wow.
It's yours for the entire day, like 9 a.m. to like 7:30 p.m. essentially.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So, and the only thing you need to do is just send us an email being like, hey, is the studio free
That's what
like
I'm
next
saying.
week?
That's
SOCAN's
amazing.
just like, here's
Amazing.
everything for you guys to do this as easy as
The
possible.
resources are
It's
there.
amazing.
You just got to sign up. What are you waiting for? Just do it. Just sign up. I don't want to hear any more complaining. Just sign up for the goddamn thing, all right?
I will say too, like, one thing I do want to be transparent about is people are like, how do you make your money? You're a nonprofit organization. We do take a small percentage of your domestic royalties. So anything you make in Canada, but it's like usually like less than 10%. Internationally, whatever you make outside of Canada through SOCAN, every penny goes to you. And I think we're the only PRO in the world that does that. I think we're the only PRO in the world that doesn't collect anything off your international revenue. So, I mean, like...
Wow. I am so horny right now. No, but seriously. Look, Nick can't even do that. I looked right at him as I said it.
God.
It almost sounds like one of those companies that is too good to be true, especially as a musician. But it is that good, and it is true. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But secretly, they're an evil corporation behind the scenes. But that's how they make their money, all right?
He's kidding.
No, of course. I'm kidding. Of course. But no. I mean, I think if people listen to this podcast and still don't sign up for SOCAN, I don't know what to tell you. You're at that point, you're hindering your career more than anything.
Yes.
As a Canadian, it is truly so important for people to go sign up. It's helped both of us, Nick and myself, and you know, like, what else is there to say? Truly, what else? Nick, do you have anything more to say?
I think we covered everything and how amazing SOCAN is.
And if you go to the website, if you have any more questions, there's a frequently asked questions section and whatnot. I'm sure there's, and then just, email Aidan. He's going to get like 3,000 emails tomorrow.
That's fine.
He loves answering emails. This guy loves it, all right? That's why he's the man. He loves it.
I would love to think that 3,000 people would email just because of listening to this
I'm
podcast.
putting it out into the world. That's happening. He's getting 3,000 emails because of this.
I will say, like, again, if you do email me and I, for whatever reason, haven't gotten to you, it literally is because there's an avalanche of emails. So just nudge me. Be annoying. I don't care.
Yeah.
Beautiful, man. Aidan, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. Like I said, I'm sure our viewers are going to love this, and they better go sign up, or else I'll personally find them and kiss them on the cheek. Nick, any more things you want to say to Aidan?
Just thank you again, man. Like, thank you for being here on behalf of SOCAN and shedding so much light. And I know this is going to help so many people.
Yes.
It was such a massive stepping stone in my career, and I hope it does even more for other people.
Yes.
You know?
Yep. I feel the exact same way. I'm very generous and humble. Thank you so much, Aidan, for coming on. I appreciate you taking the time. I will see you soon, hopefully. Have a wonderful day, my friend.
Peace.
Peace, guys. Thanks so much.